What's going on, guys? Thank you so much for tuning in to Late Hoops. Today's video, we're going to be talking about the next move for every NBA team. We're going to be breaking these videos into two parts. Today's video, we're going to talk about each team in ranking seeded order in the Eastern Conference. And then tomorrow's video, we're going to be talking about this same video, but it's going to be the Western Conference teams in order of seeding in their respective conference. So we're going to be going from the Bucks first all the way to the Pistons at 15th last. Be sure to stick to the end because some of these teams' moves are a little more complex than others, and some of them are really just as simple as re-signing or trading one of their pieces. So let's jump right into this talking about the Milwaukee Bucks. I would say their biggest move or their next move is to decide to keep or move on from Chris Middleton. If you're going to keep Chris Middleton, it has to be on a more fitting extension. This last season, we saw a lot of injury woes with him, and even in the postseason, other than that Game 5, which they ended up losing and blowing an 18-point lead to the Miami Heat in that fourth quarter. Other than that game, Chris did not look very great, and that's okay just because of how he's returning from such a catastrophic injury. The thing is, though, is Chris Middleton just declined a $40 million player option for the 2024 season. If you're going to re-sign Chris, it cannot be anywhere near in that ballpark. I understand players are getting paid a lot more, but just with the direction that this team is going, I don't think signing Chris on anywhere near a $35 to $40 million term deal is just, it's never going to be worth it. Outside of that, you're going to want to re-sign Brook Lopez and maybe even Wesley Matthews as well. He is a great vet for this team and honestly is just a good 3-and-D glue guy. I'm excited to see the future of this team with the new head coach Adrian Griffin from the Toronto Raptors. We obviously heard that Giannis gave a pretty big cosign, and if you're the Milwaukee Bucks, you'll do anything to make your superstar happy. You guys had a very quote-unquote disappointing season or stint in the postseason. You had an incredible 62-win regular season. I'm excited to see what you guys got next year. As for the Boston Celtics, I think the biggest move for them is to integrate a replacement for Marcus Smart to pair with the new addition of Kristaps Porzingis. I think Kristaps Porzingis is going to raise the ceiling defensively for a lot of this Boston Celtics team sets. He's honestly a very underrated and quick defender when it comes to down in the low post. I think Bruce Brown would be an incredible replacement for Marcus Smart, and you could probably be paying him in around the same ballpark that you were for Smart. I honestly don't think Smart was as big of a loss as Celtics fans like to make it out to be. I do understand he was a big part of Celtics culture, but he took a lot of terrible shots down the stretch for you guys this postseason. I digress. Just let's get a replacement for Marcus. As for the 76ers, I think it's time to blow it up or trade Tobias Harris for 3-and-D talent and maybe some draft capital. Re-sign James Harden if you're going to do this, though. In my opinion, you shouldn't re-sign James Harden. You honestly may even consider trading Joel Embiid and just cashing in on a boatload of assets, kind of like the Oklahoma City Thunder did a few years back with Paul George and Russell Westbrook. I know that may seem kind of crazy trading the current MVP of the league. It's just my opinion, guys. If you think I'm stupid or wrong, you can let me know in the comments below. If Joel Embiid is the head of your snake, I'm not sure you can win. It's kind of like the same thing, ironically, that people were saying about Jokic and why he shouldn't win MVP. If you know ball, you knew Jokic and the Nuggets could win a championship. I'm not going to spend any time talking about that. As for the Cleveland Cavaliers, you guys need to get a fifth option that's reliable. Donovan Mitchell, Darius Garland, Evan Mobley, Jared Allen, you guys got that down. For this Cleveland team, there's just a lot of different options at the small forward position. You know, you guys try Isaac Okoro, Lamar Stevens, you brought Danny Green in and you try him some games. And I just think it's very clear if you watched Cleveland basketball this year that they were missing that fifth option. Someone like a Derek White, someone like a Bruce Brown, someone who can go in, create their own shot. If you're them, I would be targeting someone like Bruce Brown, Jeremy Grant, Bojan Bogdanovic, just someone, like I said, who's able to shoot the three ball and can get their own shot pretty much wherever they want. As for the New York Knicks, you kind of got to make a decision on RJ Barrett's role on offense. If this is the team you want to rock with again and kind of run it back and say, you know, we made the second round, we upset the Cavs, we could have beat the Heat maybe if we were healthy. It's just getting to be that time where you have to either move on from RJ Barrett as one of the main options or just get him to accept his role as the third option and kind of hope and work with him on his 3-point ability. This Knicks team ceiling honestly could raise as high as him if he was able to shoot the three, especially off the dribble. For the Brooklyn Nets, it's very simple. If you turn down an offer of Anthony Simons and the 3rd overall pick for Mikal Bridges, just continue to build around him. You guys had an honestly really crazy season with, you know, at one point you're the 3 seed in the East and you have Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, and now you do not. Just continue to around Mikal and Cam and see what happens. For the Atlanta Hawks, see what Quinn Snyder can do with an entire year with this team. He's a much better gifted offensive coach than Nate McMillan was. If not, it may be time for you to move on from DeJounte Murray. A lot of people are trying to make calls for him, including the Boston Celtics. You don't want his trade value to continue to deteriorate, but you also don't want to move on from something where you just gave up a ton of first-round picks. At the 8th seed, the Miami Heat, I honestly have no idea. I guess try to make a play for another star, but you already missed the window on Bradley Beal, and it seems Damian Lillard is now off limits, so I guess you just hope that the draft went well and maybe bring in some guys in free agency. Maybe if Jaylen Brown or Draymond Green don't re-sign with their respective teams, you can try to make a move for them. But other than that, I mean, getting like a Brook Lopez would be really nice to slide Bam back at the 4. I think the defensive ceiling of this team would be raised a lot if you had a defensive center who could shoot the 3. As for the Bulls, very short and simple. Blow it up. Trade DeMar DeRozan. Trade Zach LaVine for a haul of assets and just move on. Lonzo's not coming back this year. It's done. This team is done. Move on from it. The Toronto Raptors, sign and trade Fred VanVleet if possible. If not, just let him walk and build around Scottie, OG, and Pascal. See how the new head coach does. See how this new team just feels and looks going into this season. For the Indiana Pacers, continue to let this young core ride. Maybe find a new home for Miles Turner, because I bet you could get almost 2 first-round picks for him, considering every contender would kill for someone like him. Tyrese Halliburton is clearly your guys' future. Just go crazy with that. For the Washington Wizards, gauge the level of talent that the backcourt of Poole and Jones possess. I'm really excited to see it myself. I think they honestly have potential to be pretty decent, not like win games decent, but just, you know, look good enough to say maybe if we got a couple more guys in the front court, we could be good. As for the Orlando Magic, make the playoffs or play in this season. Franz Wagner, Paolo Banchero, Markelle Fultz, these are all guys that I absolutely love. They're going to have to make a decision, though, on one of Cole, Markelle, or Jalen. One of them might have to get flipped into different positions because they are very stacked at the guard position. For the Hornets, it's very simple. Pray the Brandon Miller project works out. I mean, you guys had one of the most influential picks in the draft, and you opted to not go Scoot. You opted to go Brandon. It's going to be very interesting watching Melo and Brandon. I'm a huge fan of LaMelo Ball, so I'm really excited to see how the Hornets play this season. And finally, the Detroit Pistons. Let's see a healthy season from Cade Cunningham and watch him and Wiseman build chemistry along with the other young pieces. Jaden Ivey showed a lot of upside this last season. There's no rush for anything to happen. What do you guys think? What did I miss? What was I right about? Let me know in the comments below if you made it this far. I appreciate your support as always. Have a great rest of your day. Stay happy, healthy, and blessed. Peace.